My name is Mr. Meyercord. I'm the principal, and this is my 22nd year here. Schools for a long time have wanted to do one-to-one computing, and the iPad just happens to be the device that brought the price point to a place where schools could realistically consider doing it.
My name is Mr. Wong. Right now I'm teaching biology honors. What we did was we had one group of sophomores, and we incorporated the iPad into those particular classes. I know into biology, into geometry, into religion, into English, etc. It was a pilot program. Yeah, I think it was mostly positive. And the pilot teachers, we reported back to the main technology group, and we said, yeah, it's worth doing.
My name is Leo Ruth, and I teach 2 sections of Algebra 1, 3 sections of Geometry Honors, and this is my 44th year teaching here. There's pros and cons. The biggest pro, from my point of view, is that students don't have to carry a backpack loaded with so many different textbooks. You get some poor freshman who's not a very big kid, and he's got to carry his books on a backpack, probably going to strain a back muscle. With the iPad, I'm under the impression that students can basically get all of their texts on their iPad, so that one tool is very handy for them to have that. So that's a big plus, just the effort and the weight load of carrying everything around.
No, I don't think iPads make kids smarter, right? I think that iPads provide students with opportunity, access, and possibilities. And I think that iPads also provide students with the temptation to be off task.
The downside is, as I have said, at the beginning of the school year, when I didn't have so many controls or so many rules about iPads, I could come in here and sit down at my desk waiting for the second bell to ring and look around at 29 students, and 26 of them were playing games on their iPads. And early in the second semester, when I decided that it was not in the best interests of students to be doing that, and I said, no more iPads can be turned on until I begin the class, and you're supposed to have your textbook out. I started to watch at the interaction between students, and it was a great improvement. They were actually becoming social again.
When you have a job, when you get older, you're going to need to communicate with your coworkers, your boss, and things like that.
So my name's Scott Swenson, and I'm the assistant principal for student affairs.
What do you think the majority of students use their iPad?
Games. I'm just kidding. A decrease in the amount of interaction between students, and we also heard from students that there was an increase in distractibility. And I think we thought that it was going to happen a little bit. I think it was larger than we intended it to be.
I don't want to be a policeman. I want to be a teacher. And there were many times at the beginning of the school year when I could tell that students were playing games on their iPad, and the second that I started to come down the aisle to see what they were doing, of course, they were hitting the buttons and closing it down. And so that's the downside of it. It's a distraction.
One thing we got back very strongly from those results was that students were more distracted and felt more distracted because of the iPad. One of the things that we thought of to limit that distraction was to remove the ability to play games when they should be doing something else.
Socially it sucks, but for educational purposes it's good.
I'm an art teacher. My name is Al Pusero. As a teacher, I think iPads sometimes get in the way, especially at the start of class. But I do think it makes a student a lot brighter and smarter and more inquisitive, because right at their fingertips they can Google or find out what they need to do to make a project work better.
During class, I try not to, but sometimes teachers just kind of start rambling, and feels like you're resorting to that almost.
With the iPad, I guess it's easier to communicate with everyone because everyone has the same type of device. You can iMessage anyone you want because you already know their email.
You know, some of the surprises have been kind of some of the things that teachers have come up with or students have come up with to do in the classroom that I think have been really interesting and have deepened the level of engagement for the students.
I've tried to incorporate as many of the new new iPad apps, let's say in my teaching, something like Nearpod, something like Flipboard, something like having students blog, something like trying to incorporate Twitter into some of my lectures. So it's changed in that fashion. Yeah, I think the iPad program or the idea of a tablet or the idea of mobile computing, I think it would have happened anyway. I think it's a natural course of events. I mean, when I first started teaching here, people were using typewriters. And then people were using mimeograph machines, and then people were using copy machines, okay? And then it's a natural evolution of incorporating technology.
I want the iPad program to live up to the potential that it has, right? And that means teachers integrating it into the educational experience and students using it responsibly. So I hope that's the direction we're headed. I think it is, and I hope we get there.